New information suggests the FBI may have actually had somebody inside the Trump campaign back in 2016. Now, after months of stonewalling, the Justice Department seems to be giving in some ways anyway, to Congress's demands, agreeing to brief the House Intelligence Committee about a top-secret source allegedly planted by the FBI to investigate then-candidate Donald Trump. So if that's the case, who was this agent? And what would it mean for the Mueller investigation? Joining me right now, former Trump deputy campaign manager David Bossie. David, did you guys ever feel like you were being watched? And not just by all the media, but you know what I mean. Really being watched.
No, and first of all, we don't know very much, if anything, about this. But this is exactly why Chairman Nunes and others in Congress are trying to force, the Department of Justice and the FBI to come forward and tell them what they know. They have a oversight responsibility for the American people to make sure that what was going on was appropriate. And from what I see and what I'm reading between the lines, I don't know that it was.
If this actually turns out to be true, and the FBI, the Obama administration's FBI, actually planted someone to be watching all of you and to report back, what does that tell you about the process and all the concerns that some have right now about the so-called deep state?
Yeah, this is what the deep state is, if this is in fact true. This is, look, we've been told this over and over again, that this is just something that these investigators happened upon, and therefore they started to figure out that there may be something going on with Russia. If they did that changes the dynamic of that investigation completely, and that's why we need the oversight to educate the American people, to make sure this doesn't happen again. And let's just make sure the hypocrisy here, we all understand and remember that the Clintons, right, the Clinton Foundation and Hillary Clinton with her server were bleach bidding her server and taking hammers to their phones and data devices. It's outrageous that we know that was going on, but we don't hear of moles or spies inside of the campaign. And it's just, this is an outrage, no more, no less.
I mean, there's so many things, right? I mean, whether it's some kind of phony dossier that James Comey, the head of the FBI, doesn't think it's necessary to know who funded it, or to tell the president who funded it. I mean, that's wild to me. The secret plane meeting on that, between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch. I mean, it's one after another.
And to not tell the FISA court judges, right? That's what you're saying, is they didn't even tell the judges who are the ones that in private, right, with national security involved, that, hey, this dossier, this group of information that we are presenting here was paid for by the Democratic Party, was paid for as opposition research. So, Judge, you should take that into consideration. Of course, that never happened. Look, this thing stinks to high heaven.
It certainly does. And by the way, I should point out, we just had a banner up that overstated what the Wall Street Journal originally reported on this. And just to once again emphasize, as you said, David, it's not known yet whether or not this is indeed the case. But allegedly, the Obama administration FBI may have had someone there monitoring the workings of the Donald Trump campaign. Yeah, and according to Kevin Cork's reporting there from Fox News, he just told us that he did confirm that with some of his sources in the White House, and that they said, in fact, they had an idea on who this person was, and said specifically that she or he may indeed, all of this would unravel in due course. But you were going to say something. Go ahead, David.
No, it's going to be very telling, and I'm interested in Kevin's reporting on this, but it is going to be very telling. Did they try to insert somebody inside Trump Tower in the campaign? Because right now it's an allegation of maybe they were overseas taking parts in some of these meetings that may or may not have happened in London and other places. So I think it's a
You get how you could do this, though. I mean, this is the deep state concern, because they could argue, well, you know, we thought maybe, you know, he was some kind of maturing candidate put forward by the Russians. Therefore, we had to go deep into the campaign and do all this. We had to get the FISA warrant. We had to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, they can justify whatever they want based on their quote unquote concerns.
This is very troubling for the FBI and for the DOJ, and they owe it to the men and women who work incredibly hard as part of our law enforcement agencies across this country to make sure that they dispel these rumors, that they put forth the information to Congress so that we make sure, one, if it happened, how and why did it happen, and two, that it never happens again, because this is a nefarious, it sounds very nefarious, and if James Comey's FBI was conducting this type of investigation, with now that we know what was going on at the FBI in the highest levels, it just does so much damage to the men and women that are protecting us every day.
Understood. Understood. Well, David Bossie, it's good to see you. Thanks for being on today.